Okay, so I thought it would be funny and kind of interesting to look at my makeup evolution. I feel like everybody goes through it, obviously, and probably different steps, different stages. And I kind of just wanted to share it with you. So I'm gonna be popping up some never before seen super unattractive pics of me. I look like a completely different person, just so you know. All right, so this first one. So I think I was a sophomore in high school. This is like the earliest back that I could find evidence of makeup. I did start wearing makeup when I was like 12 or something, 11 or 12, and it started off with like blush. Like my mom would let me use her blush, you know? And then it started to kind of evolve into like lip gloss because I like was a 2000s kid, you know? So it was just lip gloss for days, dripping off your lips, you know what I mean? And then I feel like somewhere around there became mascara and eyeliner, and then that was my shit. That was my shit. It was, sorry. But yeah, so basically I would just go hard with black eyeliner and mascara. So black eyeliner all the way around. I always kind of did like not like a cat eye, but I always did kind of like a little bit of a flick out here. More of a triangular shape, I guess, but then I would take it into my waterline and just like pile on the mascara. And I remember like I would use a lash curler and I would just like loads of mascara to try and get it to, because I always say that it doesn't hold a curl, like my lashes are really straight. Nothing in my brows, of course, plucked my brows like crazy. Nothing on my skin. I didn't wear foundation. This photo is very blown out, so you can't really see. I was wearing concealer. Concealer was probably the first product I ever started wearing because dark circle girl, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so this was nothing on my lips except lip balm. It was all about just piling on the eyeliner and the mascara. And I was probably about 15 or so, to give you an idea of that. So this was where my interest in makeup really started to spark, because pretty much throughout high school, that was what I did, that first pick. So now we're in college. I didn't really become super interested in makeup until I got to college. Probably the first couple of years I was doing like various versions of what I would wear in high school, which is why it's fucking crazy to me to think of all these like girls, or these kids who are like going to high school full beat, you know what I mean? Like crazy to me. We did not grow up with social media like that. To give you a little bit of perspective, I'm 30. Anyway, so when I was in college, probably like maybe sophomore into junior year or junior year of college, I started to get a little bit more on, I remember I got Pinterest for the first time, and I was like scrolling through that and I was seeing all these like badass Halloween makeup looks. And I was like, what? Linda Hallberg's was one of the first. I saw like, she would do these triptychs or like little mini photo tutorials, basically like step by step. And I was like, this is incredible. She's amazing. What is this? What? And I started to become more really interested in makeup. So obviously this was a recreation, super crude. I think I remember using like all NYX or all e.l.f. makeup, literally just eyeliners, some lipstick probably, but this was just like a recreation of something that I saw on Pinterest. And I was like, this is so much fun. This was my first like debut, I guess, of my makeup, like wearing like artistic makeup, wearing it somewhere. So anyway, my parents threw a Halloween party and I was like, I'm gonna do this. So I made myself a skull. Again, super duper crude. I literally used like, I can't even remember what I used. I remember it being NYX though, because I went and I got NYX, I think it was a gel eyeliner, like in the little pot. Pretty sure I got black and white, and that's what I used. And I used like one brush. And that was it. And I think it was an e.l.f. brush. I can't remember. But this was my first like time being like, oh, check this out, dude. I can paint on my face. For those of you who don't know, I did go to school for painting. So that's my background. Like my background is in art. And yeah, so this was the first photo of me. I was like, this is a thing. I'm like, I'm into this. This is just a drawing. This is a self-portrait that I did in college. But I didn't have any photos. Most of them were with an ex-boyfriend and I dumped that shit. So I have like no photos of the makeup that I started wearing towards the end of college, but I started to go in. I was like, what? Eyeshadow? Okay. Liquid eyeliner all over the place. Super hard on like I started contouring. So this is like first evidence of that. I can't remember if I was actually wearing lip products or if I was just taking some artistic liberties. I vaguely remember wearing lip products, but I was like going in. It was pretty much that look every single day. And my eyebrows were nothing like this. They were still plucked pretty thin and I was doing them, but I think it was just like pencil, maybe powder. And my front, I would like round the front of them, which like, stop. You know what I mean? Anyway, so we're still in college here. So now this is post-college. This is right after, don't mind the iPhone photo distortion. I'm like angling it like this, like crazy to make myself look skinny. Anyway, so started to figure out my eyebrows a little bit, like started squaring them off a little bit, but like they're, you know what I mean? Softer. This was kind of an everyday. I remember I wore this to work, but I was wearing lipstick. I was softening my eyeliner a little bit. I was wearing falsies on a regular basis. I was really into Kiss lashes at the time, kind of starting to build up my face routine, figuring out contouring, bronzer, highlight. I was going in on the highlight, but I wanted to be like relatively work appropriate, you know, so I'm obviously not. But let me just say that I wore some crazy ass colorful looks to work. This is also post-college while I was working in the same job, but I was still basically like what I was doing was I would go, and I was working full-time as a graphic designer, and I would go into work and like I would do my makeup for work. Obviously that was a photo that you saw before of whatever. And sometimes I would take photos of those like more natural, or sometimes I would wear glam makeup to work. And then if I did that, I would come home and on my lunch break, I would take photos when I had like nice daylight. And then in the evenings, I would come home and just kind of like play with more special effects stuff. So I was basically just like experimenting. Also, this is evidence that I did have a cartilage piercing for a while before I got these. Anyway. Oh, and like, do you love the quality of the photo, by the way? So bad. Everything was always on my phone. This is a terrible photo of my brother and I. Again, post-college, around the holidays. Things were getting a little bit more harsh, kind of. And then this is when I first moved to LA. I'm pretty sure it was 2015. Again, iPhone distortion. I used to overline my lips like fucking crazy. I would like really make them rounded, which wasn't the cutest. Don't get me wrong, this makeup look, fire, loved it. I actually have been wanting to recreate it. So I was being very creative. I was experimenting with color. There's obviously a lot of blush in this. My eyebrows were gigantic, still very outlined. But I was figuring it out. Once again, figuring it out. Look at that nose highlight, cute. You know what I mean? This was in the same sort of era, but moving a little bit more into like, oh, I think I'm figuring out what I'm doing. I was getting into like, I'm figuring out my skin. My eye looks are creative, colorful, having fun with it. I remember using the Anastasia liquid lipstick. Shit, what's that color? I can't remember, but I used an Anastasia liquid lipstick as my liquid eyeliner for this. I'm wearing colored contacts. My lips are still overlined, but they're getting like a little bit better in shape. I guess I was experimenting. Eyebrows still a little bit crazy. And I was going pretty hard on the contour. Also, I couldn't afford to get my hair cut. So this is when I first started going to events, like early events. This was for Dose of Colors, and I was super into like dead tones, like this grayish that I've got going on my lips. You can see my contour color is all wrong. It's very, very dark. I wish I could remember what I was using. It was probably from NYX, I want to say. I had no money at the time, so I was just like, you know, buying affordable stuff. But yeah, for whatever reason, I was really attracted to cool tones. So I was wearing a lot of that. And my eyebrows are looking a little bit better. I was basically like very, very, very glam, but everything was full coverage, like full coverage concealer, full coverage foundation, layering like cream and powder contours, which is why it looks so heavy. So this was sort of what I refer to as like my second phase of living in LA. I had moved, I had been there for a couple years. Yeah, I had been there for a couple years, maybe 2.5 at this point. And I felt like I was really, really getting it. My contour was still a little bit like intense. I was definitely still doing full coverage. You can see from this photo, like when I was taking photos, I was definitely over editing my skin because my skin was in bad shape back then. But again, I was kind of starting to figure out my like nose contouring. It was all about the eyes. Everything was super duper glam. My eyebrows are still kind of just like, you know what I mean? Now looking at that, I'm like, tone it down. But at the time I was like, fire. And look at those fucking nails. Like, I would die. But yeah, man, I really rocked some shit, you know? That was fun. That was fun back then. So this was around that same time, maybe a little while after. I was starting to be like, okay, I love glam, but now I want to experiment with skin. I want to look a little bit less matte, and I want to look a little more like glowy, you know? So I was kind of experimenting with moving into As you can see from my brows here, I was like, I kind of want to like not necessarily do the Instagram brow every single time. And like, I don't know, kind of lighten things up a little bit, you know? So I'm not just like covering everything all the time. This was sort of a foray into that, like a little bit more natural, not feeling like I have to wear red eyeshadow in my inner corner when I go to the mall, you know? This was actually an event for Becca Cosmetics and Chrissy Teigen's second collab. Wow, look at how much my glasses distort my eyes. This was my first and only brand trip that I've ever been on. I went to Hawaii with Becca Cosmetics and it was the most amazing thing. It was 2 days and it was the most amazing thing in the entire world. I met the most amazing people. Anyway, here you can see I'm not wearing anything. I'm not wearing any makeup on my face. Drink my smoothie. Concealer, a little bit of lip balm, some lip liner, a little bit of mascara, and a little bit of something in my brows. And that's it. I was feeling a lot more comfortable in my own skin. Before that, I was feeling a lot like I needed to just cover everything up. And here I was kind of like, so what? I have a couple breakouts. Who cares? My skin looks nice. You know what I mean? No one's really looking at them. So I was starting to become a little bit more comfortable wearing less makeup and feeling like, oh, I just want to do some tiny enhancements like when I don't feel like wearing a full face of glam, you know? Like I don't want to feel like I have to wear a ton of makeup. Okay, so this is what I would refer to as my third wave. This is basically all like when I moved to LA, it was like about 2 years in each spot that I lived. So this was my third wave. This was my current apartment. And as you can see here, I'm like, give me like glow. It's all about skin. I'm not wearing any eye makeup at all. My brows are starting to look like fire. Just some lip. I can't tell if I'm wearing any lip color, if it's just a gloss or what, but I was like, how can I still do glam, but keep it like glowing? Like I want model skin, you know what I mean? You can also see that my contour and like bronzer has all toned down a lot. I stopped self-tanning. Actually, I don't know if I'm self-tanned in this. No, once I went platinum, I was like, I'm done with the self-tanning. Anyway, I was starting to kind of pull back a little bit. And I was becoming much more interested in small enhancements rather than feeling like a canvas and I need to put all of this product on my canvas and like do a bunch of eyeshadows and a bunch of colors. I was like, now I think I want to fine tune my natural skills, you know? But we don't forget the art. Okay, so this is, again, around the same time frame. This was a recreation of an artist. I can't remember who. I put it on Instagram. I was basically like, when I was actually doing my makeup for people who were going to see it, I was focusing more on clean skin, you know, glowy. And at that time, during that transition, I was really like feeling disconnected from my artistic background. So I started doing these kinds of things. I was still doing this, but I was keeping it separate. I was kind of like pulling them apart. Before I felt like the art of it and like the drama, the color, and then like of the glam, the regular makeup had to be together. Like it all had to be in one look. And now I was kind of deconstructing. I was taking it apart and I was like, the makeup that I wear on my face that people are gonna see, I want it to be more natural and I want to fine tune that. But I don't want to lose that creativity and that color and that like fucking art, man. Like shit. Isn't that beautiful? Like I love that. But then around that time I was still doing glam. I was figuring out like, I was still kind of experimenting with like going more towards skin, but I still loved that glam. This was a recreation of Kylie Cosmetics look. I was still like loving that color and doing those full glam looks, but you can kind of see, you know, I went hard on the blush for sure, but again, my contour has calmed down. It's much more light toned. I'm going into color as in on my lips, it's a little bit more peachy. I moved away from like those cool tone shades and everything is just looking a lot like softer and prettier, I guess, even though this is like a very intense eye look. And that was not too long. That was probably about last year-ish, a year and a half ago or so, probably a year ago. And then this is where I am now. So this to me is pretty full glam. You know, I mean, the eyes are pretty intense, but I now have really been focusing on just trying not to cover up my skin completely, you know? So marrying the two, figuring out how I can wear full glam looks with very natural skin, or like making a look glam without piling on coverage, if that makes sense. Now I kind of feel like I fine-tuned my skills a lot. I finally feel like I've sort of figured out my nose contour, but that's an ever-evolving situation. I try not to overline my lips as much. I still do it. It's really tough not to. But I feel like I have all of those things down. I feel like I have everything down. I can do looks where, and honestly, the majority of the time, if I'm going out with people, I'm wearing something super natural, or I'm not wearing anything, you know, maybe a tiny bit of concealer and some mascara, or just concealer in my brows. But when I need to do full glam, I can go hard on the full glam. And this has all been, I mean, what did I say? I'm 30 years old. This started when I was getting into really getting into makeup. It started almost 10 years ago. 7 years ago, I guess. But it's been 7 years. That's like insane, you know? So if you feel like you're watching my videos and you're like, oh, she's got it together, I'm never gonna be able to do makeup like that. Dude, it's been a while. It's been a while. You saw that first picture, right? Like, we saw that picture, right? I thought this would be interesting to share with you guys. I would be interested to know, like, how, if you want to leave me a comment down below and just quickly describe like what your makeup evolution has been. Like, did you start off like very natural and then go more full glam? Like, where are you right now in it? What are you struggling with? What are you trying to figure out? What are you trying to like focus on? It's just funny to kind of like look back and be like, see old photos and be like, oh my God. I'm so glad that my brows didn't die from overplucking. Anyway, I don't know. That was just, I thought it would be interesting to talk about my makeup, my makeup evolution. I hope you enjoyed this video. And quickly before I go, I'm just gonna let you know that I have a new channel that's going to be coming out. If by the time this goes up, I have the first video up, then I will link it down below. If not, keep an eye out because I have a new channel coming. And that's all I'm gonna say. What do you think of my makeup? Tutorial coming soon. All right, guys, I'm gonna drink my mango, pineapple, carrot, banana smoothie. And that's it. That's my sign off. It's pretty good, actually.